All right, let's talk about the big one. We're diving into the single most important essay you're going to face on your AP History exam, the document-based question, or, as everyone calls it, the DBQ. If you stick with me, I promise that by the end of this, you'll have a complete roadmap to absolutely crush it.
So why all the fuss? Well, check this out. The DBQ isn't just another essay. It's a full quarter, 25% of your entire exam score. That's huge. Getting this right is, well, it's pretty much non-negotiable if you're aiming for a high score. It is the most important thing you'll do on test day.
Okay, so what even is it? At its core, the DBQ is an argumentative essay. You get a historical question and a packet of 7 documents. These could be anything: letters, maps, political cartoons, you name it. Your job is to act like a historical detective, building a strong argument using those documents as your evidence and also weaving in some of the history you already know.
And that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? How in the world do you get all 7 of those points? See, the DBQ is graded on this 7-point rubric that can look a little scary at first. But here's the secret. Every single point is tied to a specific skill. And today, we're going to walk through how to lock down every last one.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the absolute basics, then we'll get into that critical 15-minute planning period. After that, we'll break down the rubric point by painful point. Then we'll cover the mistakes that trip up almost everybody. And we'll finish with some insider tips that'll really give you an edge. First things first, let's get the logistics down. The whole DBQ task is 60 minutes. You get a recommended 15 minutes just to read and plan, don't skip this, and then 45 minutes to write. In that hour, your mission is to use those 7 documents to answer one single prompt with the clear, argument-driven essay. Now, here's something you gotta know. While the skills we're talking about are the same for all the AP histories, the content is different. Your DBQ prompt is always going to be within these specific timeframes. So for AP World, you're looking at 1450 to the present. For AP US, it's 1754 to 1980. And for Euro, it's 1600 to the present. Knowing these dates helps you focus when you study. Okay, now for what I think is the most critical part of the entire hour, your 15-minute game plan. Seriously, what you do before you start writing can make or break your entire essay. A solid plan leads to a solid essay. A rushed plan, well, that almost always leads to a disorganized mess. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, breaks down into 3 simple tasks during these 15 minutes. First, you've got to tear that prompt apart to figure out exactly what it's asking. Second, analyze those 7 documents. And third, group them into categories that will literally become the skeleton of your essay.
So, when you're deconstructing the prompt, you're hunting for 3 things. First, the dates. Get them right. Second, the category. Is it asking about social stuff, political causes, economic changes? Because if you write a killer political essay for a prompt about social effects, you're going to lose points. And third, what's the skill? Is it asking you about causes, changes, comparisons? That skill frames your whole argument.
Now, for maybe the single best tip for analyzing documents when you're stressed and the clock is ticking, this comes from the AP History master himself, Steve Heimler. It sounds crazy, but do not start by reading the document. Instead, start with that little block of text right underneath the title, the citation. So why on earth would you do that? Because the citation is basically a cheat code. It tells you who wrote it, when they wrote it, and sometimes even why they wrote it. This gives you a massive head start on understanding the document's bias and its whole point of view before you read a single word of the actual text. It saves so much time. Okay, your plan is locked and loaded. It's time to write. From here on out, every single sentence you write should have one goal, earning one of those 7 rubric points. So let's talk about what the graders are actually looking for, piece by piece. As you can see, the big kahuna here is evidence. That's worth a whopping 3 points. But you've also got these crucial single points for your thesis, context, sourcing, and that very tricky complexity point. Let's start at the top with the thesis. And this slide is everything when it comes to the thesis. The example on the left, that's not a thesis. It just repeats the prompt. It makes 0 argument. But look at the one on the right. It takes a clear, defensible stand. It tells you how slavery shaped society and sets up 3 clear categories for your essay. It's a roadmap for your reader. That's a point earner. Next up, contextualization. Think of this as setting the stage for your argument.
You need to describe what was happening in the world before or during the time period of the prompt that's directly related to your topic. A random fact like the Louisiana Purchase isn't going to cut it. But connecting the ideas of the revolution to the reality of slavery, that sets the stage perfectly.
Okay, then we have sourcing. For this point, you have to analyze at least 2 documents on a deeper level. You can use the acronym HIP to remember your options. What's the historical situation? Who is the intended audience? What was the purpose? Or what is the author's point of view? But here's the key, the part everyone forgets. You can't just identify it. You have to explain why it matters. How does the author's point of view shape what they're saying? And how does that help you prove your main argument?
All right, let's talk about the traps. AP graders see the exact same mistakes year after year after year. Knowing what they are is the best way to make sure you don't fall into them and lose easy points.
A classic mistake is a vague thesis. Saying slavery caused division is, yeah, true, but it's not an argument. It doesn't explain anything. The fix is so easy. Just add the word because. That one little word forces you to explain the why or the how, and boom, you instantly have a line of reasoning that can earn the point. Another huge one, just quoting big chunks from the documents. Please don't do this. The grader already has the documents. They know what they say. They want to know what you think it all means. So instead of quoting, summarize the main idea in your own words, and then, this is the money move, explain how that idea supports your argument. You get points for analysis, not for transcription.
Okay, you know the rules, you know the mistakes to avoid. Now, for a few final tips that can really take your essay from just good to great and actually save you some time. This might be the best time-saving hack there is. Remember that awesome thesis we wrote with those 3 distinct categories? Well, guess what? Those categories just became the topic sentences for your body paragraphs. Paragraph 1 covers economic differences, paragraph 2 is all about political compromises, and so on. Your thesis literally becomes the outline for your essay. It keeps you organized and perfectly on topic. So if your head is spinning with all this info, let's just boil it down to 3 golden rules. Number 1, read the citation before you read the document. It's the ultimate shortcut. 2, your contextualization has to be directly connected to the prompt. No random fun facts. And 3, sourcing means explaining why it matters. It's all about the analysis.
Look, at the end of the day, the DBQ feels like this big, scary monster. But it's not. It's just a system. It has clear rules and a predictable pattern. Once you understand that system, how to plan, how to write for the points, and what traps to avoid, it becomes a challenge you can absolutely conquer. So the only question left is, are you ready to go master it?